Hi there, viewers. Welcome back to the channel. Anime Insights. Today we will be recapping Season 1 of the series, The Grimm Variations. Let's dive in. Two brothers. Jacob and Wilhelm are masters of storytelling, but their sister has a talent for sharing grim versions of their tales. On this occasion, Charlotte tells a tale called Cinderella. The tale follows the lives of a noble family in Japan. The Viscount lost his wife and how he has asked another woman to marry him. The woman has two daughters, and all of them move into their new home where they meet Kyoko, the Viscount's young daughter. Kyoko welcomes them warmly and is eager to share blissful family days with her stepmother and stepsisters. The stepsisters are quite mesmerized by the noble life and are always fighting over expensive clothes and jewelry, even though their mother tells them to behave. But Kyoko entertains their requests and makes them believe that they can have anything they desire. Kyoko's behavior towards them becomes increasingly possessive. The sisters start to realize that there is something wrong with Kyoko. She is always too attached to them, and when they retaliate, Kyoko frames them for petty crimes. One day, the sisters catch Kyoko eavesdropping on them, and they confront her. Kyoko pretends to fall down a flight of stairs, making everyone in the house believe that the sisters did it. Kyoko pretends to be innocent and asks her father to forgive them, but he is increasingly worried by their behavior and decides to send them abroad. Before he can act, he dies in a car accident. This is the start of Kyoko's control over the lives of her stepsisters and stepmother. Kyoko serves the sisters as a dutiful maid, but she does it on purpose, trying to control them like puppets. Kyoko is the one who got rid of her father because he was going to send the sisters away. One day, the girls receive an invitation from a count to a ball, and they plan to catch the count's attention in the hopes of getting married and leaving the house. However, Kyoko foils their plan and makes a scene at the ball, making everyone believe that poor Kyoko is mistreated by her stepsisters. The sisters leave the ball, feeling humiliated, and when they come back home, they find out that Kyoko has killed their mother as well. The following day, the count visits their home in the hopes of inquiring about Kyoko, but the sisters act rudely. The count decides to save Kyoko and marry her. He then kicks the sisters out of the house. Once they are free, the girls cry from relief. Their plan to deceive everyone in order to get kicked out of the house worked, and now they are free from Kyoko's clutches. Jacob and Wilhelm are riding in a carriage with Charlotte as she begins a peculiar tale about the Red Riding Hood. This story is set in a dystopian world where human beings can use special eye drops to be transported in an artificial reality. This reality provides all the pleasures of life and can grant humans immortality. They can upload their consciousness in a world where they can never age, and they can enjoy a world full of glamour and entertainment. A blonde girl walks into the bar in this artificial reality. She enjoys the views of dancers and people singing and orders a drink for herself. But a man interrupts. The man offers to buy her a drink, and the two of them hit it off. The man, who is known as Mr. Gray, wants to take the girl to some private place. He gives her special eye drops, and they get teleported to a different area of the bar. They find an empty room where the woman begins to undress. However, the fun is over the minute Mr. Gray becomes too controlling. He grabs onto the woman and rips out her lips and ears, savoring the blood. He is a killer, and tonight he has found a victim. Mr. Gray is from a club known as the Wolves Club. They like to hunt real humans and kill them. Gray forces the woman to remove her altered form and reveal her real self. He then proceeds to brutally kill her, enjoying the entire process. Gray is known to be a more enthusiastic member of the club. He kills countless women, luring them in virtual reality and then killing them in the real world. However, he wants more, and he is willing to do anything. He goes to a shady area where he meets an old lady who can arrange his next victim. After some time, she sends Gray the location of Scarlet, a girl she thinks will best suit him. Gray goes to the area where Scarlet is, and the two of them end up in her apartment. At first, Gray thinks he is under control, but soon he finds himself sleeping away. When he wakes up, Scarlet has him tied up on a table, and she begins brutally hurting him, just like he hurt his own victims. She slices off his nails and rips his mouth, and finally kills him. Scarlet then goes to the old women, where the two of them have a shared understanding of how there can be wolves in sheep's clothing. Today, Charlotte shares a unique story about two siblings, Hansel and Gretel, who live in a quaint country house with other children. Their mother and father serve more as their overseers, making sure the children are well educated and well behaved. However, Hansel and Gretel like to be more chaotic. They skip lessons, leave food on their plate, and sneak out at night. One night, they are caught making drawings on the floorboard and are punished. The two of them have to spend the night in the forest. Hansel is a bit scared, but his sister decides to lead him deeper into the woods. They come across a cottage, and when they enter, they find delicious sweets and cakes. As they indulge in the food, an old woman who looks like a witch appears. She seems kind and gives the children some hot chocolate. She tells them that the world is flat and that there is something special beyond the edge. The siblings do not believe her, but she tells them to run after a ball that has gone beyond the boundary of their home. The following day, the siblings return back, and during playtime, when the ball is kicked out of the boundary, Hansel runs after it, but he notices an invisible wall at the end. He is shocked to discover this, but doesn't say anything. He gets punished once again for chasing after the ball, and the siblings end up at the witch's house again. She gives them a cylinder full of shiny stones, and tells them that if they decide to investigate further, these stones will guide them. The siblings are determined to learn the truth. They go towards the invisible wall, and find themselves entering a strange place with space pods. They look out the window and realize they are in space. They return to the witch, who tells them the entire truth. She reveals that there used to be a planet where humans lived, but the planet became uninhabitable. Now, children are trained on a spaceship and sent to a new planet once they are deemed fit for survival. The witch informs Hansel that he can make the journey to this new place, but Hansel is confused why his sister can't come with him. Gretel reveals that she has only been a figment of Hansel's imagination, and that her main purpose is to help Hansel get to the other side. Hansel's eyes fill up with tears as he departs the spaceship to his new planet. This time, Charlotte shares a story about an author who is down on his luck. The author, who is called N, has been unable to write anything good for a long while. His last successful book was a couple of years ago, and now he is only cranky, lazy, and unproductive. He hates his neighbors and starts fights with people. He sits on a park bench thinking about his miserable life when an elf appears. The elf mocks N about his work and critiques the book he has been working on. N is infuriated, but he can't do anything since the elf looks like a little child. The following morning, N is trying to recover from his hangover, but he notices a manuscript on his table. Even though the writing is his, he did not write his book. Regardless, he sends the book to the publisher and immediately gets a positive response. His editor is in awe of N's writing and eagerly awaits more. N is confused. On one hand, he received a large sum of money for the manuscripts, and things are looking good, but on the other hand, he didn't write it. He tries writing his own novel and sends that to the editor, but gets rejected. This makes N feel frustrated. His own writing was rejected, but the book he didn't write was celebrated. Another complete manuscript appears before him, and this one is a huge hit. N's entire life changes. He has more money, a better lifestyle. He now dines and lives lavishly. However, one day while coming back from a meeting, everything changes. N goes into a deep spiral as he starts questioning his own identity and work. The elf appears before him again and reveals that N failed to resist his fate. Instead of continuing to work on his novel, he took advantage of the completed manuscripts he was given, and now his life will revert back to what it was. N does not believe what he is hearing. His entire life falls apart, and for a brief moment, he gets a vision of the life he could have led if he had completed his own novel. The vision is sweet, but fleeting. N ends up dying a washed-out author, and the elf silently disappears. After saving a cat from a dog, Charlotte tells her brothers a story about 3 women who saved a small, western town from a bad group of people. Mad Dog was the deputy of a town, but her sharp sense of justice got her in trouble, and she ended up traveling with other misfit women, Donkey and Cat. The three of them would travel together, trying to find odd jobs, and one day, they visit a town where the Wade brothers, a notorious gang, were terrorizing people. They come across a little girl who the Wade brothers abducted and now use as a lookout. She guides Mad Dog and the others to the salon, where the three girls end up fighting the Wade brothers and killing one of their members. News of this spreads to Sean, the leader of the gang, and he vows to kill everyone in the salon. Even though Mad Dog and the others could have left, they decide to stay and protect the town and the girl. Sean arrives at the salon with his lackeys, but all of them are beaten down quickly. In the end, Sean and Mad Dog have a duel, which results in Sean dying from a knife to his head. Mad Dog and the other women decide to stay in the town and work in the salon, as peace and order is restored. The little girl ends up joining them as well. Inspired by the story of the Pied Piper, Charlotte tells the tale of a village where a girl, Maria, is set to graduate from school and marry. Her teacher has a crush on her and cannot bear to witness Maria marrying anyone else, but the Grand Code, Maria's grandmother, and town elder makes all decisions, and she has decided Maria's fate. Maria herself is a carefree, direct girl who doesn't care what happens to her. She just follows her grandmother. One day, the teacher is visited by a traveler who wants to stay the night. The traveler offers the teacher some rare items as payment, but he ends up trapping the prisoner and taking all of her wares. One item is a picture depicting two lovers, and the teacher ends up showing it to Maria, who becomes mesmerized by it. Maria shows up at the teacher's house again, wanting to see the picture, but they end up sleeping together, and Maria uses the opportunity to take the picture and trap the teacher in his own basement. Later on, a flute can be heard echoing throughout the village, and everyone becomes alarmed. The teacher escapes and rushes to Maria's house, where her family finds that she has run away. Maria follows the sounds of the flute and meets the traveler. She is enamored by the music and wants to join the traveler. She ends up merging with the mysterious figure and ends up as a traveler herself. Maria now lives in the far future and finds herself in a city where she is telling her tale. Well, that's a wrap for Season 1 of the series. The Grimm Variations. Thanks for watching and subscribe for more content.